Hello everyone, Red Lip here. Las Vegas, the city where excess isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. And nowhere embodies this philosophy more extravagantly than the Wynn Resort. Picture this. You're walking past Louis Vuitton, Cartier, and Rolex boutiques where a single watch costs more than your car, and suddenly you realize the buffet here charges $80 per person. That's right. $80 before tax and tip for a single meal. But here's the million-dollar question that brought me through those gilded doors tonight. In a property where table minimums start at $50 and shops sell handbags worth more than some people's annual salary, can the Wynn Buffet actually deliver value? Can you truly eat your way to victory against Steve Wynn's empire? Well, my hungry friends, I've spent the last 2 hours conducting reconnaissance on their seafood spectacular dinner. And what I discovered will either make you reach for your wallet or run for the nearest McDonald's. Because while the Wynn Buffet remains one of the few places inside this monument to luxury where you can theoretically get your money's worth, the devil, as they say, is in the details. So grab your stretchy pants and your appetite for the truth. We're diving deep into over 120 selections. From lobster claws hidden like treasure to truffle mac and cheese that could feed a small village. This is everything you need to know before you drop a Benjamin Franklin on dinner in Vegas. And trust me, after what I witnessed tonight, you'll either be booking your reservation or thanking me for saving you from the most expensive disappointment of your vacation. The approach. Navigating the Golden Maze. Before we even discuss the food, let's talk strategy. Because approaching the Wynn Buffet requires planning worthy of a casino heist. First lesson, forget parking at the Wynn, unless you're a high roller with their player's card. I parked at the Palazzo using my Venetian Diamond status, because while Wynn gives you 3 hours free, let's be honest, 3 hours for an $80 buffet? That's amateur hour. And once you exceed that window, boom! $20 for parking on top of your already premium-priced meal. The walk from Palazzo to the buffet is like a gauntlet designed to test your financial resolve. You'll pass Prada, where they spell expensive with capital letters, and boutiques so exclusive they replace U's with V's just to seem more European. There's a Patek Philippe store that doesn't even display Nautilus watches. They're too precious for mere window shopping. And yes, there's a Hermes, where they won't just sell you a bag even if you have the money. You need to prove you're worthy first. By the time you reach the buffet past a decorative carousel that security will tackle you for attempting to ride, you've been psychologically prepared to think $80 is reasonable. It's genius marketing, really. Surround people with $5,000 handbags, and suddenly that buffet price seems like pocket change. The dining room itself is what I call aggressive elegance. Meticulously maintained, almost surgically clean, with the kind of lighting that makes everyone look like they belong in a Dynasty reboot. Operating hours for the Seafood Spectacular run from 1 to 9 p.m. Though who's eating dinner at 1 in the afternoon is beyond me. The offerings. Treasure hunting in paradise. Now, let me paint you a picture of organized chaos disguised as refined dining. The Wynn has restructured their entire buffet since my last visit 13 months ago. And the transformation is both impressive and cunningly strategic. Starting with the cold seafood station, which I'll call the Siren Song, because it lures you in with promises of luxury. The lobster claws, these beautiful crustacean appendages, are hidden like Easter eggs throughout the display, limited to 8 or 10 at a time. They know exactly what they're doing here, creating artificial scarcity for their most expensive items. The texture of these lobster claws when I finally secured some, perfectly tender, with that characteristic sweet maritime essence, though the meat-to-shell ratio felt suspiciously conservative. The snow crab legs come in 2 temperatures, hot and cold, giving you options depending on your preference. The hot ones, bathed in clarified butter, achieve that perfect balance of oceanic sweetness and rich dairy decadence. But here's where it gets interesting. The Jonah crab claws and marinated seafood medley occupy prime real estate, while genuinely premium items are strategically scattered. It's psychological warfare, making you work for the good stuff while filling your plate with pretty but less valuable selections. The sushi and sashimi station deserves special mention, not just for variety, but for actual quality that surprised even this cynical critic. The hamachi with yuzu citrus delivered that melt-on-your-tongue texture, with bright citrus notes that cut through the fish's natural richness. Even their spicy tuna, often a dumping ground for lesser cuts at buffets, maintained integrity with proper seasoning and fresh fish that didn't require excessive mayo to mask inferior quality. This wasn't grocery store sushi elevated to acceptable. This was legitimate sushi bar quality democratized for the masses. The poke bar showcases ahi and salmon varieties with proper Hawaiian-style preparation. Each bite delivers that perfect contrast of silky fish against crunchy cucumber and onion, with sesame oil providing that distinctive nutty backdrop. The hidden gems, where smart money eats. Let me share intelligence that separates tourists from Vegas veterans. While everyone fights over crab legs, the real value hides in plain sight. The bacon-wrapped scallops, which I could easily consume 40 of without shame, represent peak buffet ROI. Each perfectly seared mollusk, wrapped in crispy pork armor, delivers umami bombs worth at least $5 each at any respectable restaurant. The texture contrast alone, that crispy, salty bacon giving way to sweet, tender scallop, justifies multiple trips. These aren't frozen food service scallops either. They're legitimate dayboat quality specimens treated with respect. The lobster mac and cheese, hidden in the comfort food section, like a trust fund kid slumming it in a dive bar, contains actual chunks of lobster meat. Not lobster essence or seafood blend, but honest-to-God knuckle and claw meat swimming in truffle-infused cheese sauce. The truffle aroma hits you first, earthy and intoxicating, before the cheese assault begins. A 3-cheese blend if my palate serves correctly. This single dish, properly portioned, would run $35 at any strip restaurant worth its salt. Speaking of criminally underappreciated, the French onion soup deserves a standing ovation. Properly caramelized onions swimming in rich beef broth crowned with broiled Gruyere that forms those gorgeous cheese pulls social media lives for. This isn't Campbell's with cheese melted on top. This is proper Lyonnaise technique executed at scale. The depth of flavor suggests actual veal stock, not bouillon cubes and wishful thinking. The carving station operates like a greatest hits album of American excess. Prime rib carved to order, its pink center glistening with perfectly rendered fat, accompanied by legitimate horseradish that clears your sinuses with authority. The New York strip, while occasionally approaching medium well during slow periods, maintains that characteristic mineral-forward flavor that separates choice from select grades. But the dark horse? The bacon-wrapped pork loin, which sounds pedestrian until you realize they're using genuine applewood bacon and heritage pork that actually tastes like something. The spectacular surprises, when buffets transcend. Now, let's discuss what elevates this from expensive buffet to worthy splurge. The weekend special of king crab legs, available Friday through Sunday for what I assume is an upcharge, represents the holy grail of buffet experiences. The ramen station, often an afterthought at lesser establishments, features legitimate tonkatsu broth that's been simmering long enough to achieve that milky opacity. Custom toppings include chashu pork with proper caramelization, ajitsuke eggs with perfectly jammy yolks, and fresh scallions that haven't been sitting since Tuesday. The Mexican station transcends typical buffet Tex-Mex disasters. Real carnitas with crispy edges and succulent interior. Not the braised into oblivion mush you usually encounter. The elote street corn maintains that perfect char while swimming in proper Mexican crema. Not sour cream from a squeeze bottle. Even the beans, both black and charro, show evidence of actual seasoning and slow cooking, rather than can opening and warming. The Mediterranean section houses a tapenade and meze selection that would make any Greek grandmother nod with approval. The lamb kofta maintains that perfect balance of herbs and spices without drowning in grease, while the muhammara delivers appropriate heat without sacrificing flavor complexity. But here's what truly shocked me: the quality of their vegetarian and vegan options. The wild mushroom risotto achieves that perfect wave-like consistency, each grade of arborio distinct yet cohesive, with porcini and shiitake providing earthy depth. The grilled vegetables aren't an afterthought. They're properly charred, seasoned, and presented with the same care as the proteins. This isn't tokenism. It's genuine inclusion that respects dietary preferences without condescension. The sweet finale. Diabetes never looked so good. The dessert station operates like Willy Wonka's factory if Wonka had a Michelin star. The crepe station, staffed by someone who actually understands proper batter consistency and pan temperature, produces made-to-order masterpieces. Watching them caramelize sugar with a legitimate torch for creme brulee brings tears of joy to my cynical eyes. The crack of that sugar shell, giving way to silky custard beneath, this is proper pastry technique, not buffet shortcuts. The gelato selection rotates through legitimate Italian flavors. Not chocolate and vanilla, but pistachio with actual nut pieces, stracciatella with proper chocolate shavings, and amaretto that tastes like someone's Nona's secret recipe. The texture alone, that dense, elastic quality that separates gelato from ice cream, suggests proper churning and temperature control. The cake selection reads like a pastry shop's greatest hits. Triple chocolate bread pudding that achieves that perfect custardy interior while maintaining structural integrity. Not the soggy mess most buffets pass off as bread pudding. Individual lava cakes with properly molten centers. And yes, I tested multiple specimens for consistency. The appleberry cobbler with actual fruit pieces, not pie filling from a can, topped with streusel that maintains appropriate crunch. Even the humble churro station deserves recognition. Fresh fried to order, achieving that perfect exterior crunch while maintaining pillowy interior. Tossed in cinnamon sugar that actually adheres rather than falling off at first bite, these aren't frozen churros reheated in a convection oven. These are legitimate Mexican street food, executed with respect. The dulce de leche for dipping? Made in-house with proper caramelization. Not condensed milk with brown food coloring. The reality check. Mathematics of indulgence. Let's talk numbers. Because at $80 per person, this isn't casual dining, it's an investment. To achieve positive ROI, you need strategy, stomach capacity, and the wisdom to avoid rookie mistakes. Skip the bread, obviously. But also avoid the beautiful but financially foolish salad bar, unless you're actively trying to lose money. Those heirloom tomatoes might be gorgeous, but at $80, you're paying $20 for a salad course. Focus on proteins, especially seafood, which represents the highest replacement cost. A single lobster tail at any strip restaurant runs $30 to $40. Get 2 here, and you're approaching break even. Add those bacon-wrapped scallops, some quality sushi, and prime rib, and suddenly you're in profit territory. The 2-hour time limit they supposedly enforce? I've never seen it actually implemented, unless you're obviously camping or being disruptive. But here's the real calculation. Compare this to ordering similar items a la carte at Wynn's restaurants. The steakhouse charges $68 for their prime rib alone. Cocktail shrimp appetizer runs $24, and don't even ask about the lobster mac and cheese. Suddenly, that $80 buffet price reveals itself as almost reasonable, if you know what you're doing. This is Vegas economics, where value is relative, and expensive depends entirely on context. The competitive landscape. Buffet warfare. How does Wynn stack up against Vegas's other premium buffets? Bacchanal at Caesars offers more variety with over 500 items, but quantity doesn't equal quality, and their seafood selection pales compared to Wynn's focused approach. Wicked Spoon at Cosmopolitan brings hipster credibility with individual portions and bone marrow, but lacks Wynn's execution consistency. Their weekend brunch might be Instagram-worthy, but Wynn's dinner delivers actual substance beyond aesthetic appeal. Bellagio Buffet, once the undisputed king, now feels dated compared to Wynn's recent renovation. While Bellagio maintains solid quality, they're coasting on reputation. While Wynn actively innovates and improves, the real competition comes from Studio B at M Resort, offering comparable quality at half the price. But you're at M Resort. Location matters in Vegas, and Wynn's center strip position plus the overall property experience justifies the premium for many visitors. For pure seafood focus, only Sterling Brunch at Bally's competes. But that's Sunday only and even more expensive. Wynn's daily seafood spectacular availability makes it the more practical choice for most visitor schedules. The strategic timeline. When to strike. Timing your assault on Wynn Buffet requires military precision. Avoid 6 to 8 p.m. Unless you enjoy eating surrounded by convention attendees, treating company cards like Monopoly money. The sweet spot hits around 3 p.m. Late lunch crowd is cleared, Dinner items are fresh, and staff remains energetic. You'll have better access to premium items before the dinner rush depletes supplies. Fridays for king crab represent peak value despite potential crowds. Monday through Wednesday offer smaller crowds but occasionally tired food from slower turnover. Thursday emerges as the Goldilocks option, ramping up for weekend quality without Friday's chaos. The key is avoiding times when large groups dominate, as they'll devastate seafood supplies faster than locusts in Egypt. Who wins? Who loses? The honest verdict. The Wynn Buffet Seafood Spectacular makes sense for specific demographics and situations. Seafood lovers with healthy appetites and strategic thinking will absolutely extract value from this experience. Special occasion diners seeking luxury without Michelin prices find their sweet spot here. The ambiance, service quality, and food presentation justify celebration status without requiring a second mortgage. However, light eaters, vegetarians despite quality options, and budget-conscious visitors should look elsewhere. You need to consume at least $120 worth of food to feel good about this investment. That's serious eating. Families with young children face particularly poor economics here. Kids who'll eat 3 chicken tenders and ice cream just donated $60 to Steve Wynn's Ghost. Take them to Circus instead. The brutal truth? This buffet serves a specific purpose in Vegas's ecosystem. It's where high rollers eat cheap, where medium rollers feel fancy, and where food enthusiasts can access quality typically reserved for prix-fixe experiences. The insider intelligence. Tips for domination. Listen carefully, because this intelligence comes from multiple reconnaissance missions and significant financial investment. Secure a player's card, even if you don't gamble. Occasional promotions slash prices by 20 to 30%. Eat nothing the day of your visit. I'm serious. Water and black coffee only, because $80 demands maximum stomach capacity. Bring antacids discreetly. The combination of rich seafood, butter, and Vegas ambition creates gastrointestinal circumstances requiring pharmaceutical intervention. Photograph everything for social media before eating. At these prices, you need content to justify the expense. And nobody needs to know you only ate half that lobster. Request fresh items if something looks tired. At $80, you've purchased the right to demand quality. Exercise it politely, but firmly. The gloves they provide for crab legs? Bring your own if you have small or large hands. Their medium-only selection discriminates against those of us with extremity variations. Don't fill up on spectacular-sounding but heavy items early. That truffle mac and cheese might be incredible, but it's a stomach capacity killer. Save it for round 3. The final analysis? Truth in indulgence. The Wynn Buffet Seafood Spectacular represents everything glorious and ridiculous about Las Vegas simultaneously. It's excessive, expensive, and entirely unnecessary, which makes it absolutely perfect for the right moment. This isn't everyday dining or casual sustenance. This is experiential gastronomy, where the memory justifies the expense, and the story becomes currency among fellow Vegas veterans. You're not just paying for food, you're purchasing participation in Vegas's grand theater of excess. The ability to casually mention you dropped $80 on dinner and actually received value? That's Vegas cultural capital. The food quality genuinely surprises, especially given typical buffet standards. Wynn clearly invests in ingredients and training, delivering experiences that transcend steam table stereotypes. Is it worth $80? That depends entirely on your metrics. As pure caloric intake, you could eat for a week at Walmart prices. As Vegas experience combining quality, variety, and atmosphere, it's actually priced appropriately. As an alternative to multiple restaurant meals offering similar quality, it's arguably a bargain. The real question isn't whether it's worth $80, it's whether $80 means enough to you to matter. If it does, there are better values in Vegas for pure sustenance. If it doesn't, this represents one of the few Wynn experiences where normal humans can access luxury without selling organs. The Seafood Spectacular lives up to its name, delivering genuine spectacular moments among seas of very good food. The bottom line: eat or retreat. Here's my honest recommendation after extensive field research and significant personal investment. If you're visiting Vegas specifically for food experiences and have budgeted accordingly, the Wynn Buffet deserves consideration. If you're choosing between this and a show, see the show. If you're choosing between this and 2 dinners at mid-tier restaurants, choose variety. But if you're choosing between this and wondering what if, choose experience. Vegas feeds on regret. Don't give it the satisfaction of wondering what you missed. The Wynn Buffet Seafood Spectacular earns a qualified recommendation with caveats. Know what you're buying, approach strategically, and extract maximum value from your investment. This is Red Lip saying feast fearlessly, choose wisely, and always bet on your stomach in Vegas. Hit that subscribe button if this intelligence saved you from an $80 mistake. Ring that notification bell for more Vegas dining reconnaissance. And remember, in Vegas, the house always wins. But sometimes they let you eat like royalty first. Until we eat again, my friends, keep your appetite sharp and your expectations properly calibrated. Next week, we're investigating whether those $25 steaks downtown are hidden gems or health hazards. You won't want to miss what we uncover in the depths of Fremont Street.